We're back.
Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years. Back, the streets back. All right.
I wish everyone could see the top bun
The top knot
bouncing
bouncing.
as you do that.
I felt it. Well, hey everyone. Welcome to season 2 of the Cancer Sisters podcast.
We're podcasting.
We're podcasting. Season 2, episode 1. This is Greatish.
We're Greatish.
How you doing?
Welcome.
I'm Greatish. It's okay-ish.
It's so.
It's average plus.
Average plus. I don't know why that's making me laugh.
This is what we decided to return here to season 2 is to do updates about what's been going on. Greatish kind of identifies how I was feeling about going back to work.
Yes. Tell us a little bit about how that's going for you.
Oh, thank you for asking. Actually, it's been okay. It's been a little bit exhausting, but the really good thing about that is there's nothing really good about being exhausted. But the bright side of it is it feels like normal back to work exhaustion. Like I would be feeling in August when we went back, it was back to school season, how I would be feeling. I went back to work and it was complete chaos because it's not interesting to go into the whole schedule, but I had 5 classes of my own. So 5 classes of names of people to learn.
Yeah.
And then we have this school-wide study hall called Learning Lab. And it's my pleasure to have 4 different groups of students come in during every week. And I had those seating charts and I had those rosters. And then I just so happened I returned on the week we were doing something different. So I had 4 groups coming in on different days than I expected them, not knowing any of them. And that I don't miss. I still do not miss that level of chaos.
How did you take attendance?
I had to figure out where, whose class they were coming from. I had a bunch of seating charts, so I just had to figure out, who they were coming from, and then I could find the right seating chart, and then I had to make sure that they were sitting in those seats so I could use my seating chart.
Yikes.
At the same time, during Learning Lab, the students I got bombarded with, can I? Can I bring a friend in here? Can I bring a friend in here? Can I go to the bathroom? Can I go to the vending machine? Can I go to so-and-so's class? Can I go to the vending machine? Can I go print my paper in the library? Can I do this? Can I do this? I was like, you can take a step back and sit down. Because
sit it on down.
I can't. I don't miss 30 minutes for lunch and time to go to the bathroom and fill up your water bottle. And I didn't miss it 4 weeks ago and I don't miss it now.
Physically, how did you feel? Having to adjust to that schedule again from having been at home and healing, and you were very active at home and doing things and still doing some of the other commitments that you have, right? But the whole 30 minutes and eating in the morning time, your lunch,
second
lunch
breakfast.
is your second breakfast. So, what would your body do?
My body was upset.
It was like, bitch, please.
My feet hurt. My feet hurt. My legs hurt. My voice hurt. My incisions hurt because I hadn't worn an underwire bra for that many hours.
Gosh.
Most of that's normal, less the incision pain. But I came home and took a nap. I just plopped on the couch and fell promptly asleep because it is just that level of decision making, standing, talking. It was physically exhausting, but it was almost more like brain exhaustion.
Yeah.
Because sure, I had been doing things around home and I had started to exercise again. Really trying, as sad and slow as it was, really trying to build up stamina so that I could go back to work, and just for my general health and strength. But nothing prepares you for that mental
Mm-mm.
acuity and exhaustion.
Right. Taking on just from my perspective and what I do at school, and the amount you see, you overhear what you're directly taking on from the students, and it's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think people understand how physically demanding though being a teacher is, and I just want to point that out because when you were thinking about going back earlier, I was like, oh no. Like, because you had to stand, all that standing and breathing and talking when your body was still,
right,
healing.
Well, that was the thing. This is my 4th week back to work, and I know my students' names.
Very
and
good.
I'm starting to learn little fun things about them and learn their personalities. And that itself is going pretty well. But in my decision to go back to work, I really did have to consider, not just stamina, but just my physical readiness, because while my physical healing was going remarkably well, there's little leftover things. For instance, sometimes when I take the first sip of something or I take the first bite of something, I'm still coughing.
Oh yeah.
And I had this interesting conversation with Lauren yesterday.
I haven't talked to her.
I know, I did.
Oh, good.
Okay. And for listeners, she's been a nurse for a long, long time.
And one of our very best friends.
Absolutely. And I had, just an interesting conversation with her. And she said it might be worth looking maybe into respiratory therapy because it's such a disruption. That's kind of the last thing that's hanging around. That when you do take that first swallow or you do take that first bite, your body is, your physical structure of your body is, this closes.
Mm-hmm.
So that the food or beverage can go in the right place. Or when you're taking a breath, this opens. Right. And my body's still having a little control issue.
Oh.
So I'm not choking when I'm coughing.
Right.
But it sort of lags behind. So one of her suggestions was maybe take a couple of swallows of nothing, to sort of prime that proper response, like a little warm up before I take it. So that this was a conversation I had just yesterday, and it made so much sense to me, and I was so glad to be able to talk to her about it. But I have been having this, I had this little cough, and when I did talk to a pulmonologist, she said also, and I talked to the oncologist, that it was clear that there was still some inflammation surrounding, in the pleural space. And so I still had some inflammation and healing to do. So the coughing was getting better, and it would get better.
And by pleural space, you're talking about the lung.
The space around the lung.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, I'm sorry.
Well, no, I know that. I just wanted to clarify, for someone who might say, "What?"
Yeah, well, they can use your Google machines.
Well, can they?
Yes. But that was something I really had to consider because you guys may know I like to sing, and generally speaking, not in front of other people, but I would try to sing in the car.
Clip here
or
of you singing.
I would try to sing in the car, or I had music on at home, and I tried to sing along.
Yeah.
Even trying to sing at church, and I couldn't, because as soon as I'd start to sing,
you'd cough.
I'd start coughing. And so that was like, well, I have to talk all day long. I can't, and I have to project. And I can't.
Yeah.
I can't do that if I'm going to cough all the time. And I have had a little coughing in front of my students, and I have to say, I'm not sick.
Right.
I was sick. I'm not sick. I explained very briefly. I don't give them much information, and they give me a blank stare. It's really a lot of fun. It's really sweet and charming.
They're like, sure, teacher, just do your thing.
Just stop. We don't care about you.
But some kids really do care, though. I find that,
they do.
They ask and they want to know.
But empathy and compassion are learned skills.
Yes. Yeah.
And some of them haven't learned it, and that's okay. Having taught this age group for a long, long time, I know that.
You understand.
Yeah, and I don't take it personally. It's always a little funny, though, the blank stares. So, yeah, I was going to go back to work in the beginning of October, and but that was a 5-day week, and then we had 2 4-day weeks, and I was like, whoa, I should wait for a 4-day week. But then we had a 5-day week, and then 2 4-day weeks. It was the end of the first quarter. And I was like, well, why would I go in 1 week before the end of the quarter?
You wouldn't.
So I waited, and it wasn't, obviously the timing didn't end up being great anyway, because the schedule was absolute chaos and madness. But it's lovely to be back at work, especially with my friends and coworkers, because they have learned empathy and compassion and just a genuine smile. Like, we're so happy to have you back, or it's so good to see you. And that was just really sweet and lovely.
That is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. What's up?
What have you been up to?
What have I been up to? Oh. I mean, how far do we go back? Because I have to think about the last thing I said.
Well, it's been 4 weeks since our last podcast.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's week 4 out of my boot too, isn't it?
Yes, it happened on the same day. I went back to work and you got freedom.
That's so grand.
Opera singer coming up next.
And I got my first pedicure today since foot surgery.
That's amazing.
Yeah, feeling joyful. A little bit, it was joyful. And it was
nice color.
Thank you. And it came with a good massage, a good foot massage, good calf massage, and really you can't beat it.
It didn't hurt the foot where you had the surgery to have a
little foot massage? You know what's weird is that I have like a little tingle, numbness, nervy thing over there, and that's all I felt. It didn't hurt. Good. Yeah.
Well, you should dial it back, but I really think you got to start with the whopper. The big news, the thing that's really actually great and not just greatish.
Yeah, no, it is really great. And I've been digesting it, right? Because the reason Dr. Plate wanted me to come in and he didn't want to call me,
your oncologist,
my oncologist, and give this information is because he said there's so much to it that, so I had my...
You just said give this information, but I've said this to you before.
Yeah.
Because this is a pronoun that replaces a noun, and you didn't give us the noun.
I'm sorry.
What is the noun? What is this?
It's the news. I'm referring to
the news. From what?
From I was just about to say the CT. I was just about to say it.
We need to reorganize backwards. Your story.
Damn it, why are you back to work? You shouldn't be picking on me. You have students. Anyway, I had a CT a week ago, and it was on a Monday or Tuesday now, but then I got my results by Friday. And then...
Well, you got your results earlier. I got as is the case always. You got them on my chart.
Right.
Well before the physician has a chance to contact you.
Notice.
Are you listening, Cleveland Clinic?
Well, Suman does it too, but now there's this new notice on there that tells you that the doctor has not seen the results yet. So I sent a my chart message and asked for a call, and he felt bad, but he wanted to talk to me in person. This is why and I feel like I'm drawing this news out, but the news has so many pieces to it. But I'm going to summarize. Because I have metastatic cancer, I was able to take a 2-month break to get this foot surgery and recover. So it's okay, because it's sort of like And that's why I didn't really like it, even though I liked it. It's because it's a reminder that I'm a lifer. Like, I will have to keep doing this. But the positive stuff is that he wanted to wait of, a full 2 months. And in that time, I've gotten his hair. But he wanted to see.
You make it sound like you just grew a hair. Remember that listeners cannot see you right now.
I'll post a photo.
You have hair that is long enough now that it lays flat.
Yes,
instead of like the spiky, cute little bird.
The fuzzy bird I was.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. So now what was I saying?
You were taking forever to get to the good news.
Because I'm metastatic. And he wanted to take the 2 months.
See you in person because it was complicated.
Yes, and take the 2 months to see what my body did, and it performed beautifully. Okay, so the lymph nodes, the hilar lymph nodes that were showing cancer are shrunk on back to normal size, indicating there isn't any cancer left there.
Right, but undetectable on the scan. It didn't light up with any dye, correct?
No, correct. It's undetectable. Excellent. As in it's not there. So that's number one. Number two is the small nodule that was in the lower right lobe of my lung is still there. However, it continued to get smaller from the last scan to this scan, even though
when you were
I was off chemo.
Yeah,
so amazing. They were pretty amazed by that and told me good job, like I had something to do with it. I mean, I just willed it away. And the difference is and so now I'm on this chemo break and I don't have to go back to that building, except for that's where my counselor is and where I can get a massage and all this stuff. But I don't have to go back to his office or the infusion center until I get another scan in February. So I get what's called chemo break.
Yeah.
Because he said the size.
It's a chemo vacation.
It's a chemo vacation.
A vacation.
You think about that. So what's kind of interesting is that the size of the node in my lung is such that if he was seeing it for the first time for a patient, they would have just done the little wait and see what it does thing. It's not remarkable. So even though it's still there and I still have cancer, it's slow growing. It's not attacking my body. It actually shrunk and there's no reason to give me chemo.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, that was a long story, but it had a lot of pieces to it. And you made fun of me in the middle, so so I'm on a break.
Yes.
But
not a break from my sarcasm.
No, but I've missed it. And this feels really good. And I've been coaching a lot, and I kind of thought about it. I'm coaching more than I ever did pre-cancer.
Because you have a high school team. You're the high school natatorium director. You have started a team for middle schoolers specifically.
Yeah.
And you have younger kids in an age group team.
Yeah. And a master's team.
Oh, how could we forget?
So Copley Aquatics actually encompasses the youth team, the master's team, and the middle schoolers. Because they have to be part of the club because the school is 50-50 on recognizing it. It's a school club, but it is not part of the school yet.
But it could be in the near future.
Maybe.
Right?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think anyone else is taking steps towards it, but I hope so. But I'll keep taking steps towards it.
Excellent.
So anyway,
how do you feel, not just on the chemo break, but when you were able to put on 2 of the same shoes and not have a walking boot?
I wanted to dance, and I kind of did.
Yeah.
I was like, look at my shoes. Aren't they fast? And the funny part was, anywhere I went, people would be like, oh, I like your shoe. Because they're brightly colored, and it's and today I actually put on flip-flops just because.
That's not okay.
I was being defiant. I needed a minute. like socks and tennis shoes every day. Like I don't get to vary what I'm wearing. I mean, and I went to get a pedicure, so it was
Well, okay.
valid.
All right.
So anyway, um, celebrating small things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, putting on 2 shoes and trying to walk normally is. I keep working on it. In the morning, it's usually a little better. By the end of the day, I am in bad shape.
Mm-hmm.
And I am in a lot of physical pain. So that's hard to do. I have to.
But not cancer pain, right?
No, it's not cancer pain. It's just my legs and my feet and the imbalance. I was so imbalanced for such a long time in the boot, and now have found that over time, for various reasons, they're all my theories right now, but in the CT, it reported that my right hip is bone on bone, which is a change from 2020 was the last time I had the X-ray done that showed my hips. So it causes a lot of pain.
Your CT scan was whole body?
What did the technician call it?
Well,
CAP.
they did
They
your.
called it CAP. Chest, abdomen, pelvis.
Okay, so because they got your pelvis, then they could see your hip.
Yeah.
What did the report actually say? Did it? It did that. Someone interpreted it as bone on bone, but what did the report say about your hip?
Basically said that the radiologist said that it showed degeneration, arthritic degeneration on my right hip, showing it bone on bone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well, gosh, if it isn't
That's
one,
fun.
it's another.
Yeah. But, you know.
You take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have the facts of life.
The facts of life.
There's a time you gotta grow and show no one.
If you know the whole song, you should let us know. We want somebody to sing it. We'll record you. So yeah, it's physically. My whole point is like physically, I'm still limited, and it kind of stinks, you know. And just coaching before I had any of these problems was hard on just like you're talking about teaching. It's hard on your body, you know. And I wasn't wearing appropriate shoes, which has started the whole thing with my foot and started with the stress fracture and all that. And I know, but like I had aching legs before and had to stretch before and tightness and everything, but and it's a little extra hard right now. So
you know, you need to get in the pool.
Yes.
And float around.
Mm-hmm. It's difficult because there's so much, and I will. I mean, that's the plan. Like, you know, maybe on Sundays, but I'm there so much.
And you have scheduled so much, which is fantastic because it's a fantastic resource that some communities don't have.
Yes.
So to be able to use it is wonderful.
Yeah. In fact, one of my meets got canceled. One of my middle school meets got canceled next week because the team that was going to come swim doesn't have a home pool.
So they're not swimming?
No, I think
they haven't been practicing, so they're not.
They haven't been practicing, so she had to let us know. I felt terrible for them.
Mm-hmm.
Then one of my other friends texted me late at night, not last night, the night before, and said, "So, do you have any pool time maybe on Friday?" He's like, "My pool's down." You know, and their school has a pool too, but I don't know, and so, we'll see.
You take the good, you take the bad. And you have the greatish, the okay-ish, the average plus.
Yeah. But I'm taking my news as great.
It is great news.
It's just some days are pretty challenging.
Right. Well, it's wonderful news. Being back in 2 of the same supportive shoes, also something to celebrate. But just, you know, we're making fun of it by singing the theme song to the Facts of Life. But it's fine. It is just something to celebrate. And you have to pause and say, it's really remarkable, you know, and we have to be happy with it right now. I mean, every time I say I'm in remission, I feel like I should look over my shoulder or look up, because like some sky is falling, because I feel like it's not safe to say. That's kind of what that's that nagging feeling from the last year or so.
It's because I spoiled it first.
No,
I spoiled it for you.
You don't have to take credit for that, but that's true. I'm in remission, and you can't call it remission, but it's incredible news that the chemo worked so well, and even in the absence of it, the remaining nodule continued to shrink, and that is despite
that's kicking cancer's ass.
That's just despite the despite the degeneration, but that you were able to have the foot surgery, and you're healing wonderfully from that as well.
Yeah, I mean, that is really pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost fully healed, and I go back like early December, so not long now.
No, not long at all.
And they'll take a look at it again and see if I need to do anything else, but
just dance.
Dancing. But really, I just work on walking as I remembered I could.
Yeah, it's funny, but you have to make a conscious effort to try to walk in a normal way.
Yeah, as much as
kind of fix the imbalance.
I can't, like, for as long as I can during any given day until things start to tighten up and hurt and stuff. But anyway.
Well, that's what's up. That's what's been happening.
Yeah, and it's this is a good opportunity for us to see each other and sit down, because I had to ask you something I knew that happened a week ago, but we haven't been able to talk about it
because a week ago?
That you talked to our former classmate.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because like we're ships passing in the early morning. But it's pretty cool.
Ah, such is life. Well, thank you, listeners.
No, we have to talk about what's coming up. Like, what's coming up this season? Why are you looking at me like that?
Because now you have to edit it.
No, I don't. People need to understand that this is how the conversation goes.
We just lost our last listener.
Bye.
We got all kinds of things coming up. We talked about in a little bit of blurb. We're going to talk about some things we touched on here, but people we have connected with, and people who have fallen away, and this idea of compassion fatigue, that there's this idea that I could give all my emotion and energy the first time you had cancer, and the second time you had cancer, like, oh, I'm so sorry, and then that's it. Like, that's a real thing. We're going to talk about we both have all the follow-ups, and we both have all of the check-ins and doctor's appointments. So we'll continue to update and share.
And we've learned of some other people's stories, and we've heard from people since they've listened to the podcast, and I think we're going to have some other people come on and share, which is really awesome.
I've also done some more research and reading and listening, and learned some kind of shocking things about cancer treatment and cancer drugs and so forth and so on. So we have a lot to talk about.
Yeah. And we'll sprinkle in some laughing and some
awful singing.
Yes, and some sarcasm and all the things. So welcome back, everybody.
Thanks for listening to season 2, episode 1.
And my lack of conciseness. Thanks for sticking around.
We took a little bit of break. All right. Bye.
Bye.